For the next 30 seconds, this station is conducting a test. We repeat, this is only a test. What are you seeing? A wolf, dog, or coyote?
Hi, I'm Mike Jimenez. I'm a wildlife biologist, and I spend a lot of time in the field working with wolves. There are 4 clues that can help you distinguish the difference between wolves, coyotes, and dogs. The 4 clues are visual sightings, scats, tracks, and howls. You might think a visual sighting is the most conclusive. After all, as many people say, I believe it when I see it. However, most wolves steer clear of humans. If you should see a wolf, the sighting will probably be from a distance and it'll last only a few moments, especially if the wolf senses your presence.
Bear in mind that most people want to believe they saw a wolf. And, as any magician will tell you, the eyes can lie. While positive identification is difficult based on a momentary sighting, knowledge of a wolf's physical characteristics and how they differ from a coyote and dog can help. The physical differences of the 3 species are best seen in the contrast between overall size, coloration, tail, and facial features.
The main thing I'd like you to remember is that we're talking in generalities. In real life, there's exceptions to every rule. In general, however, wolves are larger than dogs or coyotes, and in the Rockies, they weigh 70 to 115 pounds. They stand about 2.5 feet tall at the shoulders, and from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail, they range from 5.5 to 6 feet.
Coyotes, on the other hand, stand about 1.5 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh in at 20 to 35 pounds. Now, even though wolves are larger than coyotes, their sizes do overlap, particularly in the autumn when pups of the year are the same size as large coyotes. As seen here, these young wolves bear an uncanny similarity to coyotes, and hunters always need to pay particular attention to their targets.
When viewed from the front, a wolf's chest appears narrow, its forelimbs point in, and its paws point out. Compared to other canids, it has especially long legs and large paws. And because of that lanky look, many people's first impression is that they might have seen a deer or a calf.
Yeah, the first time I saw a wolf, I thought it was a calf. Its legs were so long.
An important point to remember about visual sizings is that it's difficult to gauge the proportions of an animal when there's nothing nearby to compare it with.
And unlike this socialized wolf, most wolves will not allow you to measure them.
While the color of wolves varies from white to black with assorted shades of brown and gray, in the Rockies, wolves predominantly range from black to a grizzled combination of gray and tan. The same can be said of coyotes, with the exception that black coloration is rare. The coats of both wolves and coyotes, unlike dogs, are seldom spotted.
The tail of a wolf or a coyote hangs down, sticks out straight, or in cases when the animal is displaying dominance, stands up. However, unlike many dogs, the tail of a wolf or a coyote doesn't tightly curl up like this dog's.
Overall, The facial features of a wolf appear large, blocky, and less pointed than those of a coyote. The ears of a wolf are short and rounded when compared to the taller and more pointed ears of a coyote. If the ears of the animal you observed hang down, then you saw a dog.
The muzzle of a wolf is blunt and far more squared off than the sharp muzzle of a coyote. Due to the skull structure, the eyes are set a little differently than a dog or a coyote. They appear almond-shaped. At night, they sometimes cast, as Aldo Leopold so aptly put it, a green fire. Look at the differences between the eyes and facial features of this wolf and dog.
By and large, most dogs bear little resemblance to wolves. However, from a distance, some breeds such as German Shepherds and Malamutes can easily be mistaken for wolves. In addition, wolves and dogs are often interbred, leading to an animal that closely resembles a wolf.
Wolves have big feet. There's variation in size between male and female. The track of an adult wolf is over 4 inches long, not counting the toenails, and at least 3.5 inches wide. As you can see, toenails show up very well on wolf tracks. A track that looks very similar to a wolf track is a mountain lion. The main difference is that toenails don't show up on mountain lions. Their nails stay drawn in, and the back of the pad will have a lobe that extends down rather than the pad of the wolf that's either straight across or somewhat recessed. A coyote track structurally looks very similar to a wolf track. The main difference is size. It also shows toenails, but is considerably smaller than a wolf track. Wolf's stride, or intergroup distance between their front and back feet, will be anywhere from 24 up to 30 inches long. A mountain lion or a cougar, on the other hand, have a much shorter stride, and it may be 14, 16, 18 inches. It depends on if it's going uphill, downhill, walking, running, or carrying prey. But in general, wolf strides tend to be much longer than cougars or coyotes. Because in the wintertime, sometimes all you see is a hole in the soft snow, a way to tell a predator from an ungulate is to imagine a straight line and look at how, on the left here, these wolf tracks pretty much follow that line. There's very little straddle from the left side to the right side. An ungulate track tends to straddle that line. Another thing that can be confusing in wintertime is that lion hounds are run on backcountry roads, and hound tracks can be very similar to wolf tracks. A howling survey, which is simply people going out into the field and howling in an attempt to get wolves to howl back, is one method of confirming the presence of wolves. However you describe a wolf's howl, melancholy, discordant, melodious, or eerie, it's definitely a howl.
The howl of a coyote, on the other hand, is higher pitched and often accompanied by yips. The howls of summer wolf pups are indistinguishable from coyotes. While the howl of a wolf and dog may be similar, your location when you hear the howl can help you judge whether it came from a wolf or dog. For instance, if you're in the middle of the wilderness, a Las Vegas bookie would lay odds that you heard a wolf. If you hear numerous howls, odds are also likely you heard wolves. Unless, of course, there's a team of sled dogs in the neighborhood.
Scat happens, and because it happens regularly and all over the place, it can be useful in identifying the presence of wolves. Wolves are larger than coyotes or dogs, so their scats are larger. The presence of hair in the scat tells you the scatter ate another animal rather than Alpo. While scats in conjunction with other clues can be useful in confirming the presence of wolves, scat by themselves are not conclusive. Okay, let's review the important differences between wolves, dogs, and coyotes. Generally speaking, wolves are larger than dogs and coyotes. Wolves appear spare and lanky, while dogs appear more compact.
Compared to a coyote or dog, the feet and legs of a wolf appear exaggerated. People often comment on how tall a wolf looks.
Wolves possess broader facial features than coyotes. The muzzle of a wolf appears blocky when compared to the pointed snout of a coyote. And the ears of a coyote stand long and pointed when compared to those of a wolf.
Two traits often found in dogs that don't occur in wolves and coyotes are ears that flop or hang down and tightly curled tails.
The howls of a wolf are low-pitched and melodious compared to the high-pitched howls and yips of a coyote. An adult wolf track is over 4 inches long. If you come across any of these clues, report them to your local U.S. Forest Service, State Fish and Game, or the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And be sure to note the date and the location.
Now that you've become a 10-minute expert on differentiating wolves from coyotes and dogs, let's try that test again.
We repeat, this is only a test.
Okay, let's see how you did. This is a dog. The main clue here is the curved tail. And while not tightly curled, it has far more curve to it than you would see in the tail of a wolf. The clues here are the black coloration, which is rare in coyotes, the lanky legs, and those intense eyes of a wolf. This one's a toughie. That's a dog, actually a wolf hybrid. The coloration helps give it away, as do the facial features. Those long pointed ears reveal that this is a coyote. How many of you thought this was a wolf scent rolling? You, over there in the khaki colored shirt, you thought it was a wolf, didn't you? Wrong. It's a dog, and it's the tail that gives it away. This is a wolf, an autumn wolf pup. Looks a lot like a well-fed coyote, doesn't it? This one's the giveaway. That's a wolf. Now here's your chance to score big bonus points. What is it? If you said Wolfzilla, give yourself 1,000 extra bonus points and a big pat on the back.
If you weren't able to get each and every one, don't sweat it. Quick identification in the field and being able to distinguish the difference between wolves and coyotes and dogs is difficult. Remember this, experts admit uncertainty. It's the neophytes that are always certain.
This concludes our test. We now return you to your previously scheduled life. Have a nice day.